So now that I've had a few minutes to just think about the whole volume, I really enjoyed this volume. Didn't have an issue with it. The story, the character development, the fight scenes, the animation quality, and the music. Like, I'm basically just repeating what I said from volume one. It's just progressively getting better, especially now that we're getting more character development. We're getting more backstory into everybody. I was looking at some of the stuff that I'd written down previously as we were going through the volume. One of the first things that we get to see is the food fight. And going back to the first episode, that was one of my favorite choreographed fight scenes between everybody. It was fun, it wasn't meant to be taken seriously. And we got to see everyone kind of in on it. And it was a whole lot of fun. And mixing the food into weapons and watching everyone fight was hilarious and really well done. And I absolutely loved it. I'll probably go back and watch that episode again just for that specific scene. After that, one of the next things I wrote down was the card game, where we got to see RWBY and everyone kind of mold themselves together, and we get to see everyone kind of bounce off each other. Specifically with RWBY, Yang, and Weiss. Seeing those three actually get into the card game was really funny. It was really nice to see. I enjoyed it. I just like to see all the characters bounce off each other, because individually they're all really interesting characters, and to see them kind of get in a playful argument is really funny. I really like watching stuff like that, so that's a huge plus for me. Character development, Yang was probably the biggest surprise. I didn't expect the mother backstory, that whole route. I was wondering for a second there why RWBY wasn't wondering the same thing, but she was a child. That did get explained by Yang. She was much younger, so she didn't remember the whole story and everything, what happened, or really understood the whole situation. I'm not sure why Yang hasn't talked to her about it since then, though. You figured she would have mentioned something like that. It seems like a pretty important thing to talk about. Maybe it'll get discussed in Volume 3 or later on. I don't know. I'm very interested to find out. The attack combos. Oh my gosh. The attack combos, when we first get to see them fight the robot, that's the white fang labeled one. That was one of the coolest choreographed fight scenes, if not one of the best. It was on par when they first fought together, when they all first fought together. I guess that was RWBY's group and that was Juniper's group before they were actually announced as team groups. When they first fought together in Volume 1 against the bird and everything, that was so well done. That was my favorite fight scene. Seeing everyone work together, even though they hadn't previously done so. Well, here in Volume 2, we actually get to see them actually combine their attacks together, and I mentioned it in that episode. It was really well done. The smoke screen and everything, and just the whole fight as a whole, it was really well done. I really like the attack combinations and how they perform them. Penny. I want to know a bit more about Penny because, I specifically want to know how she was raised. I want to know the backstory on what exactly, how was she brought up? If she has flaws that are human, but she's a robot, is there a part of her that is human? Or, she said she wasn't a real girl, so that automatically implies to me that she's completely 100%, synthetic as a robot itself. So does she... I want to know how she was brought up. She should be able to have those memories that she seems to be having issues with, with her not being ready. They should be able to program that into her. So if she's not that kind of robot, or not capable of that, or was raised as a human being more than a robot, I want to see the backstory to that really bad. So I'm super interested in Penny. What else do I write down here? Pyrrha. She probably has my favorite fighting style. Probably more than Yang, because Yang was my favorite involving her fighting style. I enjoyed her the most, but I gotta say, Pyrrha probably resonates more with me than anyone else with her fighting capabilities. That would be the go-to character that I would play. Just watching her use everything to its maximum potential. When I saw her use her shield, and I mentioned that in that episode too, when I saw her use that shield for both attack, defense, and to use it as propulsion to, move faster to jump off of. I was sold as soon as I saw that. And we got to see some character development with her and John as well, which was really cool. So we got to see a bit more of the White Fang and their plans. They're wanting to basically topple down the current government and reigning leaders, which are humans. We do get a pretty good idea of what they're trying to do now, because they basically tell us and show us by the end of the volume what trying to take down the city. Even though that plan did actually happen early because of RWBY and their group actually finding them. So I would have liked to have seen what was their original plan, how they were going to set it up later on. Because had that actually been set up the way they wanted to, that would have been a surprise pincer attack. There probably would have been triple, if not quadruple, the amount of Grimm that would have entered the city, and a majority of the students would have been gone out on missions. So by the time the kids came back, that place would have been overrun and completely demolished. Most likely, unless the teachers got to stay too. But most of the teachers, from the way they had it set up with their groups, were gone with the groups too, out on their first missions. So, yeah, most of them would have been gone. It would have been overrun. And then the White Fang could have came in and completely annihilated the city. Had it worked out that way, actually, it would have been interesting to see that plot line. Honestly, as like an alternate storytelling, I would have liked to have seen that and seen what actually would have happened. But it still ended on a good note, though. Back to the character development for a second. Basically, everyone had character development this volume pretty well on almost everybody. I kind of wish we could have gotten to see a little bit more of Nora, since she is technically my favorite character. Like, she's my favorite personality. I would have loved to have seen more of Nora. I think we got to see more of her goofy side in Volume 1. Volume 2, we got to see it like in the food fight, and we see her in bits and pieces, but I was really wanting to see her integrate more into Volume 2. Maybe we'll see more of her in Volume 3, but I was wanting to see more because I always have that bad habit of picking the character that I actually like is the one that usually doesn't end up with much screen time. Go figure. Go figure for that. So I finally get a question answered back from Volume 1 involving Weiss. We find out that she knows about what's going on with the company, her father, the Faunus, and maybe other things, to the point where she's even avoiding her father, period. So that was interesting to see that she's known about it this entire time, so she's not completely oblivious. I respect her more as a character now, and that will probably continue to increase over time. Cinder starts showing up a bit more, and she's got like this unique mysteriousness about her and her goals. We know that she's got connections with the White Fang, but I feel like her connections are more as a necessary evil, like they're fighting the same enemy more than anything else. She doesn't seem like the type that can be controlled or ordered around, but I could be wrong. But she does kind of seem like the type that you don't want to get on her bad side. We get to meet some more of her subordinates. We've got Emerald, who is the thief. We've got Mercury, who's kind of the relaxed, interested yet not interested, easily bored, but also at the same time is ready to fight. A Mercury. And then we've got Neo, who, Neo is a character of many words. Not really. She seems like a really cool character. I mean, she took Yang on, and she owned that fight, so she's definitely got some fight in her, that's for sure. Now, Roman is also part of Cinder's group, but I consider him another wild card, because he seems like the type that also doesn't like to be told what to do, but at the same time, he's not strong enough to really fight Cinder on topics. Like, he backs down when she comes anywhere near him. He knows that he would lose. That's why he backs down. He's not an idiot. He's intelligent. So I get the feeling that he could backstab any single person at any given time. I really want to know his backstory involving humans and the current government, because he's wanting to fight them pretty badly, so something terrible must have happened to him. I do want to know what that is for him to be so involved to want to take down the people that are his race, basically. So it must have been something terrible. I know I didn't mention everyone, like Neptune, for instance. Neptune was a nice comedic relief. I definitely got a few chuckles out of him. No, nothing to write home about. It was... I'm not sure if I necessarily liked him and what the Weiss scenario. I'm not really sure I really like that. But, you know, it's cool. I've got to say, one of the things involving the teachers and the headmaster, they all get their time in to say these really nice, intricate thoughts towards everyone that's in Beacon Academy, involving our main characters that we get to see at least for Volume 2. And we get to see in Volume 1 as well, but we got to see it more this time around. Like when the doctor's talking to everyone and like trying to get them think like, why are you here? What's your purpose for being a huntress? What do you want to do? What are your goals? And it's like they make them think. And it's just really small bits like that. And the other teachers are doing it as well. They're trying to guide them along to promote their growth, to make them think for a change, to actually make them think about what they want to do, where they're going from now, and how they're going to accomplish those goals. And they do it in such a way, it's really surprising to see how much thought is put in such little timing that we actually get to see between the teachers and the students. And it's done really well. I just wanted to point that out because it's something that I noticed and I respected to see in the writing for it. Because stuff like that usually gets glossed over. Or if you're actually watching anime, you'll see the teachers end up being like more goofy than anything else. Or you won't get to see much of them at all. So it was nice to see stuff like that. I've got to say, the RWBY songs, the music in this show is top notch. I haven't had one that I haven't liked. Like, they've all been really good, really thought out. The lyrics, if you're actually paying attention to them, they got some meaning there. So I'm going to end on a high note and give Volume 2 a 10 out of 10 from me. And the reason for that is that I'm leaving Volume 2 with more questions than answers, but I did have questions answered in Volume 2. Having a good story that keeps you interested and engaged and has you asking questions each time you go into a volume, hoping to get answers or to produce more questions, to me, that's what drives a fan base. And that's what drives people like me to want to watch more. So, kudos to that. Anyways, rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought. Have a good day. Peace.